Hi, my name is Carolyn, and I have been diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia and hemifacial spasm. I'm making this video to raise awareness for trigeminal neuralgia and to share my story and experience with the disease. I hope that people can find comfort in the fact that they are not alone. You are not alone. There are thousands of people out there with this disease that understand what you're going through. So I just want to explain a little bit about trigeminal neuralgia first. It is a facial pain disorder with many causes. Sometimes the cause is unknown. It can affect one or both sides of the face. Some of the causes of trigeminal are damage to the myelin sheath, which is the protective coating of the nerve, the trigeminal nerve. That can be due to MS, or it can be due to a blood vessel constricting the nerve. Other causes are TMJD or direct trauma to the face. Trigeminal neuralgia is basically it affects half the face. Most of the time it'll affect half the face, which for me it's the left half. And I'll get sudden shooting pain through the face. There's 3 branches of trigeminal nerve. Some people only get pain in one of the branches. Others, like me, unfortunately get pain in all 3 branches. The eye, the sinuses, and the mandibular branch as well. The most common people to get diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia are women over the age of 50. However, there are people like me that are 25 that get diagnosed. There are kids, there are teenagers, people in their 30s, but it is mainly in older adults, women over men. It is a relatively rare disease. 1 in 15,000 people worldwide have this disease, but a lot of the times it gets misdiagnosed because a lot of the pain is in the mouth. So people like me have gone to the dentist thinking they need a root canal, and they're convinced that their teeth need to come out because the dull, aching, burning pain in your teeth, you just are convinced that it is a dental issue when really it's a neurological issue. There are many treatments. There are the conservative options. I would definitely recommend finding a neurologist or a neurosurgeon to discuss your options and to get the proper scans. Some medications available are anticonvulsants and muscle relaxants. Anticonvulsants unfortunately have a lot of side effects, and sometimes after a long period of time they just stop working. There's also gamma knife radiation mainly for people over the age of 50. They would be more qualified to get this procedure. And then the last treatment option is a microvascular decompression surgery. It is where the surgeon will drill a hole behind your ear, right where the trigeminal nerve is, inserts from the brainstem, the cerebellum. And they will put a Teflon sponge in between the blood vessel and the trigeminal nerve in order to take the pressure off of the nerve to stop the misfiring, which is causing the pain. Unfortunately, this disease is also called the suicide disease. 25% of people end up committing suicide because the pain is just so unbearable. It's really excruciating. But there are support groups out there. There's a Facebook group called ENDTN, ENDTN. It stands for End Trigeminal Neuralgia. There are also many website support groups. One is called the Facial Pain Association, FPAsupport.org. It is a great site for blogs and discussions, people sharing their stories, their questions and answers about the disease. There are a link for physicians in your area that treat trigeminal neuralgia. Another website very similar is called livingwithfacialpain.org. Both pages have a link to events to raise awareness, donation pages, physicians listed. So there are really great support pages out there for people that don't know where to start, don't even know if they have this, but are having similar pain. They can explore this option and see, find the right physician and figure out if this is what they really have, so you can take the next step in order to treat it. So now I'm just going to talk about my story and how I got diagnosed. In April of last year, so April of 2017, I started to get really sharp, dull pain in my eye and eyebrow area, all the way to the back of the eye. It was like almost like a sharp, cold ice pick was being constantly stabbed into my eye. I went to the doctor and they thought it was allergies, so I started on antihistamines, and that didn't work. And then I thought maybe I had some type of tumor or something behind my eye, and I went to the ophthalmologist, and that checked out. And then I want to say a month later, I got another symptom in my sinus area, mainly in my nose. It felt like it was being constantly pressed, and it was like a really, like a pressurized tingling sensation. It would come and go. Sometimes it would last for a whole day, sometimes only for an hour. And so I thought, again, maybe allergies, and that didn't work. And then I started to get the pain in my mouth. And that, and my jaw, that is pain like no other. My gums started to burn and ache, and it felt like sometimes randomly like pop rocks were in my mouth. Like I was getting these electrical shocks going through my gums randomly throughout the day, and it was driving me nuts because every doctor had told me I was fine. So I decided, maybe it was something like with my roots of my teeth, so I thought maybe I needed a root canal. So I went to a total of 7 dentists, got, I want to say, at least 7 x-rays, and they all were like, you're fine, your roots are fine, maybe you're just hyper-focusing. So that got me really thinking, maybe I'm crazy, maybe this pain I'm feeling is just in my head and it's not real. But I really just went with my gut, because I was like, no, this pain, it's real, I feel it, it's real pain. So I went with my gut, and I found a neurologist, and I got a brain, an MRI of the brain, no contrast or anything, and the report came back clear. And the doctor said there was no reason for my pain, but he tried me on several medications, several nerve medications, in case it was trigeminal neuralgia. And the nerve medication, it didn't work. So he had told me, sorry, there's nothing he could do because I don't have trigeminal neuralgia, and he just didn't know what else to do for me other than tell me to take an antipsychotic because my anxiety was creating the pain. And I believed him because I do have really bad anxiety, and I'm on anti-anxiety medication for it. So I trusted him. But the pain just got worse and worse. I went to the hospital several times to get him put on several medications, Percocet. I was put on morphine, nothing worked. And finally, I just told the neurologist, like, something has to work. So he put me on a muscle relaxant, Ativan. And finally, because before, he put me on the Ativan, at that point, I think it was middle of June, I couldn't even talk. I had to write everything down to the neurologist in a book because my jaw and my lip was so heavy, I couldn't even open my mouth past a certain point to get words out. And he kept telling me it was in my head. So he finally was like, you know what, I'm going to try a muscle relaxant. So I started taking the Ativan, and finally I was able to talk. And he told me that it was still a psychological issue. So I went a couple months believing that, taking the Ativan every day, just to manage the pain. The Ativan only does so much. I'm still in a lot of pain, but the Ativan at least calms it down. It allows me to speak and to open my mouth. So a few months went by, and I went with my gut saying it wasn't in my head. I knew that this pain was real and something was wrong with me. So I decided to look up a neurosurgeon, and I went to him, and right away he looked at my original MRI and he said, look at that. And I saw there was 2 blood vessels compressing both the trigeminal nerve and the facial nerve. It was clear as day. The other neurologist missed it. I really don't know how. The radiologist who did the MRI missed it. But this new neurosurgeon, he caught it, and just to make sure, he put me through another MRI. It was called a trigeminal MRI, a trigeminal sequence. It basically is an MRI with thinner sliced cuts of images of the brain. So it's able to see the area much more in depth and much more clear. And he was able to see that the entire nerve is being completely constricted by the blood vessel, both nerves. So it was pretty definitive that I needed the decompression surgery because medication did not work. So that was in December, the end of December. So I went through hell and back from April until December, until I was finally properly diagnosed. And it was just such an amazing feeling to know that I was, to know what was wrong with me, why I was in so much pain. And it wasn't crazy. It wasn't in my head. It was such a relief. I'm actually excited for the surgery because I can't wait to be free of this, to be free of pain, to be able to talk, to be able to eat, to be able to sing again and not be in constant pain, chronic pain every day, and not have to take a medication just so I can talk. Actually, my surgery is in less than 6 hours, actually 7 hours. It's going to be at 8 a.m. this morning. I am nervous, but I'm excited because, I watched the video and I trust my surgeon, and I know that this has been a long journey, and I've learned a lot about myself, and I know that after the surgery, I have the rest of my life just to be grateful for everything that I have, and just hope to be pain-free. So I really hope that this video has raised some awareness for this disease, and some people have gotten some type of comfort from knowing that they are not alone and there are options out there, and that you will figure out the pain, you will figure out how to treat yourself. And I just hope I can be some sort of inspiration to at least one person, just so that they can feel confident enough to stand up for themselves, to know when their body is telling you something is wrong, you're in pain, and it's not just in your head. I'm going to be also making recovery videos for people who are going to be undergoing the microvascular decompression surgery. I will be taking a video right when I wake up, throughout the day, probably for the next 2 weeks, just to document, the after effects of the surgery, just so some people can have some comfort in knowing sort of what they're getting themselves into. I know it will be different for everybody. So I will be making those videos soon. Well, actually, starting this afternoon. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.